jealousy. I have struggled, I realized, more with envy than jealousy. And so today I'm just going to talk about the difference between jealousy and envy, my personal experience with both of them, what the Bible says about them, and how we can overcome it. So if you're interested in that, then I would tell you to continue watching. I Googled it, and jealousy and envy are actually two different things. So envy is when you lack something. That person has a car, I don't have a car, and I'm envious of them for their car, for them having a car. Jealousy is different. Jealousy is the fear of losing something. When you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend and you fear losing them to another girl or guy. I only struggled more so with jealousy when a boy was involved, when I had a crush on a boy and I feared losing that attention. And I remember I had this crush, oh Lord, on this boy. And he liked me too, but you know, it's just like a cute crush. And there was this girl in school and she was absolutely beautiful, like absolutely beautiful. Every time I saw her, I would go, dear Lord Jesus, please don't let him see her. Please don't let her walk by him. Like I was so anxious, not even nervous. I was like anxious about him seeing her. And that's not crazy because jealousy is so deeply rooted in us that it's like, we're not even conscious of how it affects us. You know you get anxious and nervous with jealousy or envy when you kind of get that uneasy, like restless feeling inside and you're constantly worried about something, or anytime you see that person you're jealous of, it annoys you, like it just puts like your day is ruined. Or when you're ready to go out, you're just like, I hope I don't see this person, like they're gonna take the attention away from me. Like, and when you posting social media, that's kind of like you're like putting your foot out there and like, yeah, like this is my territory, I'm gonna make sure I keep my space secured and that I get the attention, etc., etc. That's not what we consciously think, but that's what we're subconsciously doing. And I remember like when I look back on it, I was trying to figure out, Jazz, like, why did you care so much if that dude saw her? Like, if he saw her, my fear was that he was gonna fall in love with her and he wasn't gonna be interested in me anymore, and that he was gonna leave me for this girl. And that's destructive because I was like, well, that means I'm not whole then. Because if my happiness and my satisfaction and my relief and my contentment in my own life is dependent on another person's attention on me, towards me, then I'm not whole. And if it's one thing I don't want to be before marriage, it's I don't want to not be whole. And I know that I'm not going to be perfect. I know that none of us are perfect. We're not ever going to be perfect until the day Christ comes. But definitely I don't want to be so dependent on another person's attention on me that I let it affect my everyday life and my thinking and my patterns. So that's how I struggled with jealousy. If that's you, just know that it's okay. Envy is a whole different story. Envy is when I lack something and someone else has it and I want it. Envy was always something that I struggled with in regards to relationship. We know that's one of the biggest things is love. Why is it that we are so created for love that it almost is like a blessing and a curse at the same time? And when I started to reflect on why I was jealous of other relationships, I realized it was because I had to, like, you know when you kind of test your motives, I'm like, if this couple that I see all over the place and stuff and on Instagram or whatever like that or on TV, if they break up, would I want him, like would I want the guy? And I'll be like, no, like I'm not attracted to him, I don't like him, like he's not my type. Then I'm like, so why am I so jealous that they're together? And I realized it was because all my friends, like even in high school, anytime they had like a boyfriend, they'll always be like, oh my gosh, like, you know, I love him so much, he's my everything, and I used to always be like, I can't relate to that. Like I never really had a guy where I was like, this is it, this is him, you know? There are moments where I thought that, but it was never a consistent, like, for sure, I know that I love him and I know that he loves me and I know it's love and we're gonna just be married and stuff. And so I realized that I was never so much envious of the fact that they were together. It was the fact that they knew for sure that they loved each other. That is what I was envious of, that they had that peace to know that no matter what, it's you and it's me. And because I grew up with this desire to be married and this desire to have my best friend and in a husband, I mean, and all these things, that was just my personal area in my life where I was envious. And again, I know that that's many of you because we want relationships. We want a man, we want a girl, we want, you know, Valentine's Day dates. And I don't know why we want it so badly. Why? What about being alone? What about being single is so scary? Why does it scare us so much? Why is it so fearful? And I honestly don't know the answer. So that is how I've struggled with envy. Another way that I've struggled with envy is over looks. One of the reasons I came off of Instagram in the first place was because I got tired of seeing these girls just gorgeous and like their hair and their makeup on fleek and the clothes and all these things, and I was like, I can't do that. And it honestly, it affected my self-esteem because it made me think that I looked too childish, you know? And I think that's why you have many people these days, many girls who are like 15, 16, looking like they're 25. It's because I think social media kind of puts that negative pressure on us to kind of look grown and look mature. Like, we prize maturity. And it's so ironic because we don't prize we don't give enough credit to the kind of mental maturity that's like, you know, in order to build a career and a future and a house and a family or whatever it is you want. We kind of have that almost kind of, how do you call it, facade maturity, where it's like, yeah, you're seasoned, you're experienced in the world, you've been through stuff, and it's like, you're now like, you're a boss, you know what I mean? And it's not that it's bad, you know, but I think when it kind of gets idolized and people kind of put on a front to be at a certain level in life where they're not, I think that's when it gets destructive. I'm not saying in a judgmental way because I've done this too, but it's just to say, like, I'm trying to get us aware of just how deeply rooted this is in our hearts and in our soul. So yeah, like, I've never felt that I was an Instagram curly girl. I've never felt, I hated feeling childish. And I hated feeling like, and that's why I would not, like, I would rarely wear my hair like this, is because it always make me look 12. I would try to, like, you know, do whatever. But to this day, guys, to this day, I am not good with my makeup. I'm good with makeup for myself, but not to be like compared with those girls. I don't know how they be getting that contour to be looking so like good. Anyway, I interrupt this message to bring you another message. So I filmed the video that you're watching yesterday, and oh my gosh, I forgot to say the notes that were on my phone, and it's so important, so I have to come and say them. It really encompasses what I learned from being jealous. And so yeah, let me tell you, and don't watch this. I am about to go to the beach or a pool, no, don't know yet, and so I was not gonna put on makeup for this one little segment. Okay, number one, if you covet or if you want one area of someone's life because we're envious of that person for that particular area or that particular thing, or because they have that particular relationship, ask yourself, are you willing to take their whole story? Because in order to have one thing that someone has, you would have to live their life. You would have to be them. And you have to ask yourself, am I willing to take the rest of their story? What if that person was molested at 12? What if that person was raped at 13? What if that person had all those struggles when they were in their childhood? And now when this guy or this girl comes along, this is the first relationship that they've really experienced true trust and true love. You know, like, you want the relationship, but do you want the sexual abuse or the physical abuse or the emotional abuse that they went through when they were a child? You know? Or another thing is, we look on social media and we see all these beautiful people who we're envious of. You know, we want the way that they do their makeup, we want the way that they do their hair, we want the way that they look, you know? I can only speak from a girl's perspective because I don't know what guys, what y'all be looking at when y'all see these pictures or whatever. But you don't have, like, we don't realize that many times there are people, there are Instagram models, and even people just like you and me who, in order for them to feel confident enough to post a picture on social media, they have to Photoshop that picture like crazy. I will hear people talking about how they will see someone on Instagram and they would love how their pictures look, everything, but then when they saw them in real person, they were just so shocked. They were like, he don't look like that, she don't look like that in real life. And so it's like, you probably might be envious of how this person is getting like so many likes, so many loves on Instagram or on social media, but you don't realize that they have to do so much to get to that. So it's almost kind of like they're sacrificing kind of their own confidence and their own self-esteem, you know? Sometimes we treat people's attention as a drug. We will do whatever it takes to get that drug. So even though they may get the likes and this and that, that's kind of like their high, and then they have to post it on the picture to get more. Yeah, you may want the likes, but do you want everything that comes with it? Do you want everything that people have to do to get it? Wouldn't you prefer to just be confident and embrace your own lane and embrace your own self and your own insecurities and then just live your life? And so the third thing that I realized is that the second thing I realized is that everyone is just as insecure as me. Everyone has insecurities, and we might as well embrace them. Like, it doesn't make sense to be envious over someone else's, because the only thing that you can change is your perspective. And if you truly, like, you know, let's say you want to be thinner. Don't want to be thinner because someone else is thinner and you want their life. Want to be thinner because you can only live your life and you want to be thinner for yourself. Or if you want to gain weight, like nowadays people are trying to gain weight. I didn't even know that was a thing, but people are trying to gain weight, and it goes the same way, you know? I remember there would be girls who I would be envious of because I felt that they looked so beautiful, so this, so that. And then I realized, like, when I was trying to figure out, you know, why am I envious of them and maybe I should start to embrace my own lane. I don't know if it was God or not showing me this, but I would start to become more aware of their insecurities or things that I can see about them that I personally wouldn't want or wouldn't want to take up. So for example, I'll be like, you know what, her hair is so beautiful, but I kind of like my nose. Or I'll be like, you know what, she just has bigger boobs, but I kind of like how my butt looks other than hers, you know? And it's not just kind of like, it's not that kind of comparison where you're like, I'm better in this area and you're better in that area. It's just that kind of comparison where it's like, all this comparison is like not making sense right now. Why don't I just stop looking at that person and just like embrace me, because I have insecurities and I have flaws and I have all these things. I had a friend. I hope you have a safe flight. Y'all know the planes always be coming. I'ma just wait. Like my hat, it's my brother's own. He doesn't know I'm wearing it. Anyway, so I had a friend, and just to kind of illustrate this example to you guys, see if you can follow along. She came to me and she said, you know, Jazmin, I had this conversation with my friend. The friend brought up this particular girl who has a boyfriend, and she was like, you know, like, why is everyone falling in love except for me? Why is everyone finding someone except for me? Like, this girl, their relationship is so perfect because apparently, like, they were like a Christian couple and they would like do Bible study and stuff like this. Don't fool yourself. No relationship is perfect, no matter how much Bible study they do. And that was around the time that I guess the friend was wanting to follow Jesus and stuff. And she was like, it's so hard to find a good guy these days, especially one who loves God. And my friend told her, well, you know, did you know that she lost her mom? Like, I think it was either in high school or elementary school. And she was like, and I was like, wow. I told my friend, like, that's so significant. You know, where that girl was looking at that relationship, wanting that relationship. But she didn't realize that that girl lost her mom when she was just either in high school or elementary school. And my friend told me, this is not my words, my friend told me, she said, Jazmin, I believe that we're all blessed in different ways. And our blessings kind of, it's almost like God kind of blesses us in a way where it kind of compensates for what we lacked. So for a girl who lost her mother, and everyone only has one mother, and I obviously know there's stepmom, and then there's a person who raised you who was like your mom, but you know what I'm trying to say, like everyone only has that one mother. So it's like, she lost her mother, but she was blessed with a relationship that kind of, not so much compensated for it, but it kind of helped to fill that gap where it was just like she was able to experience love and she was able to experience, you know, it was almost like that really nice blessing. Whereas this girl, you know, she may be envious over that relationship, but she has her mother. So it's like I can kind of imagine the girl who's in the relationship looking at that girl and saying, wow, she still has her mom. I wish I had my mom. You have to be careful of what you covet from other people. You have to be careful of what you're envious of from other people. You have to really just, guys, find the importance of embracing your own lane. Let me give you like a reality check. I realized after comparing myself to certain people, no one is better or less than me, any better or less than me. And if I'm not content with that reality, then either I have too low a self-esteem and I need Jesus' love, or I have too much vanity and I need Jesus' love. So the only way that you would not be satisfied and content with the fact that no one is better than or less than you is if you are either too vain or you have too much of a low self-esteem. Let that kind of like roll over your head a couple times, because it shows you something in yourself that you need to address, that we need to address, which is either way, God, like I need you because you're the only thing and the only one that can complete me. So that is what I learned. And then the final thing was just that it's completely meaningless. Like Ecclesiastes says, this too is meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Like, jealousy is just a seed. Jealousy is just a seed that will implant anger and resentment and bitterness towards someone. Half the time, you don't even know that person. And if you know that person, I think if you wasn't born and raised with that person, then you didn't know that person well enough to judge them and to judge their situation and to judge what they have. Everyone has their own blessings. The same way that, you know, some people were maybe able to go off to school and you weren't able to go off to school when you wanted to. It's the same way that, like I said, some of those people went through things in life that it's like, you would want to actually be happy for them that they get to experience that blessing. So just let it go, guys. Let it go. And I just speak love and prosperity and wholeness in your life. And I pray that God will just use this video to reach to you and give you comfort and peace and inspiration, positive motivation. I am sweating like, oh! I forgot that this is going to be like an insert in my video. So let's continue with the video.
You